A case that shouldn't exist in the history of true crime. Certain names stand out: Bundy, Dahmer, Eileen Wernis. But in a small village in Bihar, India, police encountered a case that seemed impossible. Their suspect was not a hardened killer, not even a teenager. He was just 8 years old. This is the story of Amarjeet Sada, the world's youngest known serial killer, a boy who murdered 3 infants with chilling calm, and whose life after release remains a mystery to this day, growing up in silence. Amarjeet Sada was born in 1998 in Musahari, a village in Begusari district, Bihar. Life here was marked by poverty. Families survived on meager daily wages from farm labor. Children rarely attended school beyond a few grades. Amarjeet's parents were laborers. They had little money, little education, and few resources. Amarjeet grew up without toys, books, or structured care. Villagers later recalled he was not like other children. He spoke little. He smiled oddly at times. He often wandered alone through fields and lanes. Psychologists today note that social isolation, neglect, and lack of emotional bonding in early years can deeply affect a child's development. In Amarjeet's case, it may have been the foundation for what was to come. The first killing in 2006, tragedy struck within Amarjeet's extended family. A baby cousin was placed in his care while the adults worked. Hours later, the child was found dead. Amarjeet confessed. He admitted to strangling the baby. The family's response: they beat him, but chose silence. Out of shame and fear of community backlash, they buried the truth. In many rural Indian villages, family honor is everything. Admitting a child had killed could mean ostracism. By suppressing the crime, they may have allowed a cycle of violence to begin. Murder in his own home months later, Amarjeet killed again. This time, the victim was his own baby sister, only 8 months old. She was found lifeless in her crib. Amarjeet confessed once more, but again his family refused to involve the police. Instead, they told outsiders that illness or misfortune had taken the baby. To admit otherwise would have destroyed them socially. Neighbors later whispered that the parents covered up the crime, but no one dared challenge them directly. After all, who would believe that an 8-year-old boy could be a murderer? The final victim by May 2007, Amarjeet was emboldened. He had killed twice and faced no consequences. His next victim was not family. That morning, a woman named Chanchan Devi left her 6-month-old daughter, Khushbu, sleeping inside the village school while she worked nearby. When she returned, the child was gone. Villagers searched frantically. Finally, suspicion fell on Amarjeet. When confronted, the boy calmly led them to a field. There, buried under soil and leaves, was Khushbu's body. Amarjeet confessed without hesitation. He described strangling her, smashing her head with a brick, and burying her body. Villagers recalled he spoke as if describing routine chores: no tears, no fear, no remorse. A village in horror. The community's shock was overwhelming. Mothers held their infants closer. Fathers demanded answers. Many villagers admitted they had long suspected something unnatural about Amarjeet. They recalled how 2 babies had died in his presence the year before, but because the family had insisted it was misfortune, no one spoke up. Now, with Khushbu's murder undeniable, silence gave way to outrage. Chanchan Devi publicly accused Amarjeet, crying for justice for her daughter. For the first time, the village could not protect the boy. At the Bhagwanpur police station, officers struggled to process what they were facing. How do you interrogate an 8-year-old about serial murders? Officer Shatrughan Kumar described Amarjeet as strangely cheerful. He refused to speak until someone offered him biscuits. Then, between bites, he giggled and calmly recounted the killings. This disturbed even seasoned investigators. As one officer put it, he spoke about murder like other children speak about games. Psychology of an 8-year-old killer. Experts were called in. Psychologists concluded that Amarjeet showed traits of sadism, deriving pleasure from inflicting pain. A Patna University professor noted he seemed to lack any moral compass, no understanding of right or wrong. Cases of children killing are not unheard of, but serial killing at such a young age is extraordinarily rare. Around the world, only a handful of children under 10 have ever been recorded as multiple murderers. In Amarjeet's case, his age made the crimes even more shocking. Family in denial. While psychologists labeled Amarjeet a sadist, his family resisted. His parents insisted he was innocent, blaming accidents or illness. An uncle, however, admitted quietly to reporters that Amarjeet had killed his cousin and sister. This conflict within the family revealed how denial, shame, and fear had played a role in allowing the murders to continue. In trying to protect their honor, they had left their community exposed to further tragedy. The Indian Juvenile Justice Act meant Amarjeet could not face prison. At 8 years old, he was legally considered incapable of criminal intent in the same way an adult would be. Instead, he was sent to a juvenile remand home in Munger. There, he would remain until his 18th birthday. This outcome divided opinion. Some felt it was justice after all. A child cannot be punished like an adult. Others believed it was a failure, arguing that 3 lives lost deserved more than a decade of confinement. Life behind bars for a child inside the remand home. Amarjeet was reportedly kept under close watch. He was considered too dangerous to mix freely with other juveniles. Guards described him as quiet most days, but prone to sudden giggles or outbursts. Psychiatrists attempted treatment, but progress was unclear. One police officer admitted privately that no one could truly understand him. The media occasionally reported on his confinement, but access was tightly controlled. The media storm. When the story broke, Amarjeet became international news. Headlines branded him the world's youngest serial killer. Documentaries, articles, and news segments highlighted the bizarre case of an 8-year-old murderer. For Musahari village, the attention was unwelcome. Locals resented the stigma. For the family, it meant isolation and shame. Yet the case raised broader debates in India. Could the juvenile system handle children capable of extreme violence? Should the law be reformed? In 2016, Amarjeet turned 18. By law, he had to be released. After nearly 10 years in confinement, the boy who once murdered infants walked free, and then he vanished. No public records, no media follow-up, no confirmed reports of his life afterward. Some speculate he was given a new identity for protection. Others fear he may have reoffended. As of today, in 2025, Amarjeet would be 27 years old. His whereabouts are unknown. Questions that remain. Amarjeet's case leaves disturbing, unanswered questions. Was he truly aware of the horror of his actions? Could therapy and rehabilitation ever change someone with such tendencies? Should children who kill be punished differently or protected from themselves? For experts, Amarjeet is a rare case study. For the families of his victims, he is a nightmare that never truly ended. The story of Amarjeet Sada forces us to confront something deeply uncomfortable. Evil is not confined to adults. In a small Indian village, a boy barely old enough for 3rd grade took 3 innocent lives. His family's silence allowed it, his community's denial prolonged it, and the law could only hold him for a time, not forever. Today, his fate is a mystery, but the fear he left behind endures, because if a child can become a serial killer, what does that say about the fragile line between innocence and darkness?